Hello and welcome back to Let Him Find You. Nicki V here as always, and today I want to share with you some key distinctions. I'm sure this is going to help you right now because so many of you write to me because you've kind of met a guy, or maybe somebody's come towards you on a dating site, or somebody you've known for ages and you've started to wonder, and you ask me the question, is he the one? Is he the right guy for me? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an example of somebody who I've worked with this week who was asking me that specific question. So, of course, the difficulty is that this girl, she's kind of one of my VIP clients, and I'm able to chat to her on the phone willy-nilly, and I can talk to her before she has a date and after she has a date. But what I'm going to need to do for you, and I'm going to be really, really specific so that you get that experience right now on this video, because you're going to need to answer the questions, but I can't hear your answer. So I'm going to go through the process that I went through with her so that you get to decide and you get to learn the process to use whenever you're in a or moving into a relationship with a man, or even thinking about having a relationship with a man, and that you keep having that question come into your mind. Because here's the thing, just a quick point as well, is that I think you get to a point, and maybe you're at this point by now, and if you're not, maybe we need to do some more work together. Sometimes, and this is where I got to the point where I didn't really want to waste my time with relationships which were patently not going to work for me. And therefore, you know, I was in that place where I went, look, I can spot quite clearly whether this relationship is right for me. And, you know, maybe I'll date somebody, but I'm dating them so that I can see how they live their life, which I know we've mentioned before. So let me tell you what the fabulous lady asked me. So she said, I need to talk to you because I need to decide, because this guy had asked her, you know, to commit to the relationship. So actually what happened was we got on the telephone and I said to her, because I knew she'd been away for the weekend, I said to her, you know, how was your weekend? And she went, it was absolutely beyond words. Beyond words. She said it was unbelievable, it was amazing. And I said, oh, how come? And she said, well, the place was nice and the hotel was nice and all that sort of thing. She said, but actually it was a friend of mine, a man friend, and he not in a relationship with this guy at all, hasn't seen him for, you know, donkey's years, and he's got a girlfriend as well. And he had put on this weekend for his school friends, including her, and he had met her needs at this incredibly high level. So but all she said to me was, you know, I had this amazing weekend and this guy hasn't known me, as you know, since school, and it was like he kind of knew what I wanted and what would make me have the most amazing weekend. So then she said, oh yes, I've had an amazing weekend. Now I need to decide whether the guy that I'm going out with right now is the one for me. And so she asked me that question. So I asked her some questions to help her really make that decision for herself, because I know that's what you need to do that. Whether it's just somebody that you kind of know a little bit, or maybe somebody you've been with a long time in a relationship, but you need to know whether to go to the next step, whether to move towards more of a commitment. And whether, you know, inside of you, even if he's not asked you that, whether you feel that this is a really great fit. And it brings me to something which Tony and I have used with single women for many, many years. And it was the first question that I asked her. So I said to her, so what's a must-have in a relationship for you? And she went, oh, that's kind of a difficult question. What do you mean? And I said, well, not what would you like to have in a relationship, what would you prefer to have in a relationship, but what you must have. In other words, if this is not present, this relationship would not be for you. Okay? And I said, so now let me ask you something. What are some of your must-haves? And she gave me 2 or 3 examples of what were must-haves. And she said one thing, and what was interesting, and I'll share it with you because it's really quite interesting. She went, well, she said it's kind of a must-have for him to have a lot of interest in what I love doing. So she said, but oh, I know that that's, you know, probably something that not, you know, I'm not always going to find a man that's interested in the same things that I am. And I went, whoa, hold on a minute. Let's hold on a minute right there. If it's a must-have for you, it means that if it's not present, this is not the relationship for you. And she was doing what so many of the girls that I talk to do, is they go, oh, you know, I really would love it to be this relationship that's the right one for me, but like, so I'll let go of that. I'll assume that that's not possible. And so she told me about some of the other must-haves, and she said, yeah, he ticks the box with that one. He ticks the box with that one, but there was this one that, you know, he never just doesn't seem to have the same interest. He's not, and well, she said, and she described it, she said, I start to talk about something, she said, and he just doesn't respond to me, and he doesn't really ask me about it, and she said, I feel like deflated. So I said, well, look, just hold that thought, because actually, if I'm being really honest, so I can tell you this now, I didn't actually say this to her at the time, is that I then, as Nicki V, listening to this, is going like, that will come back to bite her. If she settles for that relationship because he ticks the other boxes, then, you know, it's going to come back to bite her, because that's something that it was the first thing she said was important to her in a relationship. Right. So then I asked her the second question, and that is, what's a must never have for you? What's a must never have for you in a relationship? This is not like, I wouldn't like it if that was present, or I'd prefer it not to be. This is like, if it's present, it would not be good for you in any way, shape or form. And again, what I notice is that if a woman really wants this relationship to work because she's been on her own long time, or she's very physically attracted to the guy, or whatever that is, what she'll do is she'll kind of like ignore this thing that's a must never for her, and kind of imagine she's going to be okay with it. So literally those were the only two questions I really asked her, because I said to her, so, okay. And then I asked her another question. I said, can you think of other women who would be better with this guy? And she said, yeah, lots of them. And I went, okay. And before I could say anything, she went, see, if he was the right guy, I wouldn't be able to see that. I'd see myself as the perfect woman, wouldn't I? And I went, yeah, you would. So what we did, literally, is we just talked about this must-have that was not present. And then, as she saw that, as she recognized why she was trying to make this guy fit, trying to make it fit, trying to settle for something that wasn't great for her. And then I had this thought, and I said to her, I said, and she also said to me, well, you know, maybe it's my fault. She said, maybe I haven't really told him that I'd really like him to be interested in what I needed and what I wanted and how I like to do things. And I said to her, so the guy at the weekend that you've just been on, who I understand you're not in a relationship with, and he's got a girlfriend, and just went to school with him, I said, did he have to ask you what you love? Or does he know, actually, as a man, what so many women love, what they love to have experience? And maybe one of the things is that, you know, that a man is interested in the things that you love to do. And she went, oh my God, that's it. She said, look, I don't believe that I'm ever going to be in a relationship with a guy who took me for the weekend because he's got a girlfriend and everything. I said, well, don't be too certain about that because things happen. Things happen. But actually, it's a great reference for being around a man who doesn't even have to think about it. He knows what women love. And so I said to her, so what are you going to do? And she said, I'm going to let the guy know that actually I don't want to make a commitment to this relationship because actually I don't feel like we're right for each other. And what was lovely about it is she said it from a place of not from, oh, torment, you know, how am I going to explain that? This is really difficult. I'm going to let him down. He's going to be upset, or, you know, or maybe. And she also said, you know, I feel like this is now a decision that's right for me. It's not like a decision I've made from a scared place, from like a, well, you know, I want to be with him, but, you know, that's not right, and blah, blah, blah. She said, I now realise that each time when I look towards being in a relationship, I need to decide whether any of my must-haves are violated, or any of my must nevers have violated. So you might go, great, well that sounds really, really simple, and there are other questions that will help you. So what I wanted to do is just share that with you, and I'm trusting that you've been answering those questions that I asked her yourself, and hearing the distinction of that there are men out there who don't have to be told how to make a woman go, it was beyond words, my experience. And my experience with Tony is exactly the same. He knows without having to ask me everything that I need as a woman. So actually, I've got some news for you today, because that exercise must haves, must nevers, and there's another part to it as well which is really helpful, which asks you to describe things about the man that's going to come along and find you. And that exercise is in my ebook called Will My Knight in Shining Armour Ever Come Along? And if you would like to get that ebook, it's part of my Let Him Find You Course 1, which is a complimentary course. It's a series of videos of myself and Tony. It's got MP3, Attracting My Knight in Shining Armour. It's got an ebook, Will My Knight in Shining Come Along? And it's got a 90-minute training on it of some great distinctions and actions that you need to do to bring him closer quicker. That's called Course 1, and underneath the video you can click on that, and as soon as you've registered and given us the distinction between, and give us one option of whether you are divorced or single mom or long-term single, it'll give you the list and you choose one, and that will wing its way straight to you. There's also a button underneath called Course 2, and our Course 2, which is the follow-on from Course 1, goes into masses more detail. It's got loads more exercises. In fact, it's got 12 parts. It's got a 1-hour video of each part that I followed through on when I had the year, you remember the story of when Tony found me. It has questions, just like we've done today. It has exercises, and it also has 24/7 access to me through email, text, or instant message. And it has other things as well, which are fantastic bonuses, which will just help you on your journey to being in the most amazing place, so that your knight in shining armor comes along and finds you. So click on, and if you click on the Course 2 button, it will take you on a tour. Oh, that is a paid for course, and it will take you on the tour of how much that costs, what the payment plans are, but also, most importantly, everything that you're likely to get and benefit from on the Let Him Find You Course 2. So I look forward, as they say, to seeing you on the inside of one of those courses. And until next week, bye-bye.